Well, that's Pine Hill you see in the distance. That light spot's the Toyac river bottom. And then as you move over east, I guess, you finally hit Ball Mountain. And then just from that, where you see that Stockman's over to the left down there between Pine Hill and that timber you see is Stockman. Now then, the Hancocks was here from the time of the Spaniards were here. In fact, Elmer's granddad, some of his neighbors were Spaniards. And our people didn't come and the Williams didn't until I think the 1870s.
One of the landmarks of this area, which you can see in that clump of trees, is Hollow Rock Mountain.
Man of my grandfather, Hardy Hancock. He died in 1887, I believe. He was born in 1818. There's several interesting stories that I could tell from the day that he was born down that has been told to me. But to say the least of it, all those people that come to Texas early, they had a reason for coming here. Mostly they were looking for good land, mostly good farming country, and Texas had the name of being fine farming country. So they come here looking for good land to farm, to raise their family.
And what made him settle here?
Well, he come to Texas somewhere between 35 and 40, year of 18 and 35 or 40, somewhere along there. I don't have the date. I have no way of knowing the exact. He first stopped around Shelbyville. He lived there for a few years, and there's where he married my grandmother here. Then he decided to move further west. He was to go west, and he did for about 30 or 40 miles west of Shelbyville. Not very far, was it? But anyway, this is kind of a little story that is told, that he was camped here on this land. He had his dog and his gun, and his dog run something, some varmint another way that night and was gone the next morning, and he couldn't move on further west. So while he was waiting for his dog to come in, he looked the situation over around here, looked the land, lay of the land over. He found good water, good running streams of water. He saw good land for farming. And he says, well, why should I go further west? Because this looks like just what I'm looking for. So here's where he picked. And they started to work then to arrangements to come here and build him a house. His first house was made out of logs, of course, like they all were. We have a patent signed by Sam Houston in the year, I believe, 56, 1856, to 160 acres of land, County, on the waters of the Toyac Bow. Now, Pat, he come from Georgia, and the Georgia people are peach-growing people, aren't they? Well, he put out one of the finest orchards here on this land, and do you know what? It lasted and lasted, and up until my days, I've eaten peaches and apples off the trees that he put out. I don't know how they managed to get them to live so long, but those old big peach orchards, and people would tell about how many peaches is grown. Well, he worked at, at different things. I told you about his woodwork. One thing I want to mention that we talked about before now was the fact that he, now this will explain to you, give you an idea of what life was like back in that day. He pulled teeth, and by the way, Cindy, I guess we might find his tooth bulkins. And he made shoes. He could tan leather. He made shoes, and my grandmother could make cloth. Uh, Things that we might be hard for us to understand. Their lives. Their lives was a rugged, trying challenge because we can understand that to leave here to drive to Shreveport with a bale of cotton on his wagon to sell for probably 5 cents a pound wouldn't be much money. A lot of work and a little money. But probably is the best they had offered, best they could do. They could uh, produce a good crop. We'll have to remember that the crops growed good. They didn't have the boll weevil. They didn't have lots of insect that we have today to bother 'em.